community has really come together to support a cause whose time has come. More than anything, I'm thrilled to see that all 12 of our current Northwest Georgia school chapters are represented here. Thank you guys, because there would not be a helping hands without the school chapters. And the teachers, the administrators, the students that are all stepping up to fight this cause, you should be applauded. I'd also like to thank Chattanooga Area Food Bank. Pedro Avila is here as our representative, because without them, our program wouldn't be what it is today. I'd also like to recognize the Department of Community Supervision, Adam Lee, and his officers. Not only have volunteered their time tirelessly over the last year and a half, but they've also created a very unique program called Food for Community Service that has donated literally tons of food to our children and their families over the course of the last 2 years. And that's a program that can expand throughout the state. So I'm really excited about the potential for that. But most of all, I'm really excited and honored that the children, the students that are volunteering in this program are able to come today and hear our very special guest, because our motto is kids helping kids. And we are able to do what we have done only because of the student leaders and the students that have stepped up and said, you know what, time has come for us to help our fellow students. No one in Georgia should be hungry. So for the benefit of you today, that are here today, that may not know, I want to share and brag on what we've accomplished over the last year. So last year we operated in 8 schools in Northwest Georgia. We collected together and distributed 132,000 pounds of food that didn't get thrown in the trash or fill our landfills. That's 66 tons of food that we used to feed the families and the children that needed it the most. Translated, 153,000 meals went out to families within our communities. I mean, my goodness, what an accomplishment, those numbers. But we have a lot more work to do. And the stark fact is that 1 in 4 children in Georgia are hungry. 1 in 4. It's established that children learn better when they get nutritious food their growing bodies need. Hunger hurts. A child who's hungry is focused on where their next meal is coming from. A worry no child should have, instead of focused on school and learning. Food insecurity can lead to problems, health conditions, developmental challenges that all are connected with poor academic performance. That's not acceptable for us. It's not acceptable. So the mission of Helping Hands is very simple. Enabling kids to repurpose school food waste, join hands with their communities to feed hungry families, eliminating food insecurity, promoting education, and shaping a better world. That's what we're all about. And we're doing just that. We're seeing immediate results in the families and the children that we're able to serve. Our participating students now are graduating with honors. They're receiving merit awards. They're excelling in sports. They're winning contests. And they're prospering in school. What is more, student volunteers now are learning lifelong lessons about empathy and compassion and giving back to their communities. Communities are coming together to solve the problem of childhood hunger. And even the students and families that are receiving food are stepping up to help. So I'm excited to share that we're taking giant steps forward this year. This month, we're going to be operating in 17 schools, 7 school districts, state. We just started in 3 schools this past week. We're in Metro Atlanta, and we just now started in a school system in South Georgia, Albany, Dougherty County. At least 5 additional school districts have reached out to us to learn more, and needless to say, we are very excited about what the future could bring. And I'm so glad to be able to share the fact that it's our community, our people, our students that are leading this charge. And that's a great thing to be able to share. You know, it's been said, and educators here may challenge me on this, but a person's most useful asset is not a head full of knowledge, but a heart full of love, an ear ready to listen, and a hand willing to help others. So the meaning of that saying has really been brought home to me by a story that I want to share with you before I turn our program over. It's a story about a boy who graduated from Tryon just this year with honors, who participated in the Helping Hands program. This student only spoke broken English when he started coming to us when we first piloted the program in 2015. He had a large family, and he lived in a very small house up on the hill there in Frogtown. It quickly became obvious that his responsibility was to help feed his family. So faithfully, he came to Helping Hands of Tryon weekly to get food bags. Every week for 3 years he came. This kid had an infectious smile that he always wore, so to an outsider, you may not even realize that he had any trouble. But those who knew him knew. And when he couldn't come, teachers and counselors stepped up to get food bags for him. So this past year, he was slated to graduate, and he came to our final mobile market. He brought his little sister with him. And I noticed something in his hand, and it was his annual. And he handed it to me, and he wanted me to sign his annual. Now understand, my only real connection with this child was through Helping Hands, seeing him weekly, wishing him a good weekend, and sharing a smile. So it really touched me that he wanted me to sign his yearbook, and I did. When I handed it back to him, I saw his face go kind of stark and stone-faced, not the familiar smile. And he looked at me and he said, "So, I guess this is goodbye." That hit me like a lead balloon. I really didn't know what to say at that point, so I said the first thing that came to my head. And I said, "You know what? I really don't like saying goodbye. It's too permanent. What if we say, 'I'll see you soon'?" And he looked at me for a minute and he thought, looked down at his little sister, and he looked up to me, and that smile came back on his face, and he said, "Okay, I'll see you soon. I love you." It was at that moment that I realized what a significant impact Helping Hands had on this child and the families that we serve. We are constant in a life of turmoil. Someone these children can depend on. A lifeline, hope, and a future that may seem pretty bleak at sometimes. And that's why we do what we do. Because for students like this one who need us just to get by. So I'll never forget that day. I'll never forget that child. But I hope his story inspires you to keep giving a helping hand to the hungry children despite all the obstacles that we face. And there are many. I, of all people, know that our work isn't easy. It takes a lot of time, it takes effort, it takes commitment. But as Superintendent Woods just yesterday was quoted in a tweet, the one thing that has to be completely off the table with our children is complacency. We cannot rely on the way that we've always done things when it comes to our kids. We have to do more. And applying that thought to Helping Hands, I say we can't stop until we've accomplished our goal. And we can proudly stand up with smiles on all of our faces and say, no child in Georgia is hungry anymore. So as we turn to the highlight of our event, I just want to make sure that you all get some food. We've got some great desserts for you here to enjoy today. And I also wanted to make sure that you understood that what we've done is Helping Hands is about getting nutritious food to children. So we're highlighting the Georgia Department of Education Harvest of the Month, which is apples. And we're going to be featuring apples in our mobile pantries in the upcoming months. And we're sharing some recipes for you all to share with your students. So please enjoy those. And with that, I'd like to turn over the program to Tryon School Superintendent, Dr. Bill Williams.
Wow, what a great story. And good afternoon. Thank you, Ms. Harwood, for such a heartwarming story. I know stories like that happen in education, and I appreciate you sharing that with us. Like Ms. Harwood, I want to welcome you to Tryon on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. I know that Ms. Harwood, she recognized Helping Hands schools and attendees. There are also some other school advocates here today that I would like to introduce. We have Senator Jeff Mullis here with us today. We have Commissioner Jason Winters. I saw Jason out there. As I'm naming some of these folks, I know that I'm going to miss some of you out there, and I apologize for that, but I'm going to do the best I can do. We also have is Mark Schrader here. I think Mark, something came up right at the last minute. Mark, our sheriff, was kind of loud, was not able to make it. We have, unfortunately, Chief of Police Jason Kellett and Judge Christina Cook Graham. They sent their regrets due to prior commitments. We also have Mr. Damon Raines, Superintendent of Walker County Schools, here with us today. Dr. Dawn Williams, she's the Assistant Superintendent of Rome City Schools. Mr. Jimmy Linderman, Superintendent of Chattooga County Schools. Mr. Jaron Hosmer, he's the Assistant Superintendent of Chattooga County Schools. Mike Martin, who's the Principal of Chattooga High School. Principal of Menlo, Charles Cooper, who's Principal of Lyerly. They're here with us today. Mr. Larry Wiesner and Mr. Eddie Massey, who are on the Chattooga Board of Education. Principals Lori Van from Cherokee Ridge, Kristen Teams, the Principal of East Central Elementary. I believe they're here today. Mr. Principal Beth Pelham from Gilbert Elementary. Mr. Brian Ellis, he's the Principal of Tryon High School. Mr. Scott Crabb, the Principal of Tryon Middle. Mr. Tim Gillespie, he is the Principal of Tryon Elementary School. We have Miss Carrie Maddox Brown, Mr. Johnny Brower, and Mr. Darrell Broom, all Tryon Board of Education members in attendance today. I know that I've met some individuals who are here today, and I apologize, but I do want to thank you for joining us. I know that Ms. Harwood explained to you about the mission of Helping Hands and told the personal story about her involvement with the idea behind her vision. I'm going to be brief, but I want to tell you more because there is much more to know about how this originated and how Helping Hands has grown. And also because there's a great lesson behind this story that I'm about to tell. About 3 years ago, Ms. Harwood and Ms. Tina Lee, who is a teacher at Tryon Elementary, they approached me with the idea of creating Helping Hands Tryon City Schools. And I want you to know, as a superintendent, I have several people approach me throughout the year with what I'll call crazy ideas. I believe that my answer at the time to Ms. Harwood and Ms. Lee was the politically correct answer. Because they're very nice ladies, I said, that's interesting. We'll continue to talk about that later. Well, as I walked away, I thought to myself, these ladies really are crazy to try to start something like this. And I thought, well, you know, this idea is just a thought and it'd probably never be discussed again, but I was wrong about it. About a week later, these crazy ladies, they cornered me once again. This time I listened more closely to what they were saying. And I became more satisfied that these two ladies, they really were crazy for what they were telling me they wanted to do. I remember saying, we can't do this. There are so many rules and regulations with cafeteria food, we just can't do it. Is it a good idea? Absolutely. But we are a school, we're not a food bank. We just can't do it. Well, if you know Miss Harward, if you know Miss Lee, neither takes very kindly to the phrase, we can't do it. So Miss Harward continued to attack the rules and regulations on untouched food in the cafeteria. She somehow, and I'm not sure how, she found a loophole in the creation that allowed Helping Hands to start. And because I didn't have a good reason anymore to say no, I finally was on board with Miss Harward and Miss Lee, and the Tribe Board of Education members were soon involved in the commitment to make this vision, a success. And I'm going to be real honest with everybody in the room today. I still, at that point, I didn't think Helping Hands was going to work out. Now, I thought the diligence of Miss Harward and Miss Lee, and knowing the work ethic of some students like Sophie and several other students, they would make a good effort at what they were trying to do, but I believed this was going to be an uphill battle. I didn't think it was going to happen. And I didn't think Helping Hands was really going to be a success. There was no way that this group, they could keep up with the organization, the dedication, and the time commitment that it would take for Helping Hands to be a success with longevity. And I'm telling you this startup story for a reason. There are many young people out here in the audience today. And I'm talking to you mostly, but I also want the adults to hear this and learn something from it. Don't you dare let anybody tell you that you can't do something that you know is right. If it's in your heart and it's the right thing to do, then don't you take no for an answer. Now, young people that's listening to me, don't take me wrong when I say, when I'm talking about don't take no for an answer. I don't want you to be belligerent about being told no. I'm saying do your homework, do your research, and prove that the person who said no, I want you to prove them to be wrong. You know that it's right. What a great movement that Helping Hands has turned out to be. It's all about helping people who need help. My goodness, folks, you know, with all the negativity that's going on in the world today, isn't it a wonderful thing to have kids, and that group of kids is growing larger and larger, who have discovered that helping others provides that sense of purpose that we so often neglect throughout our lives. Look around you for just a minute. Look at what Helping Hands has become. I am so thankful for all. And I'm thankful for Tina Lee. And I'm thankful for all you students out there who you made a commitment to help others, because it's not like this everywhere. A lot of things are wrong and this is right. So, all of you out there in the audience, I believe that you're servant leaders. And we all know that it makes us feel very good to serve others. And students, listen to me, what you're doing, I'm going to tell you, it's not going to be registered on your milestones test. It's not going to be calculated in your CCRPI score. But I can assure you that helping those that need help is much more important and much more rewarding than any test you're ever going to take. Listen to an old man, I'm telling you. I'm right. Helping Hands, you are paying it forward. I thank you all for having a warm heart and being committed to something so good. As you get older and you look back on the different happenings in your life, students, you're going to cherish and be proud that you helped others even more than you do now. I know that you recognize it now, but I'm telling you, when you get older, you're really going to recognize what you've done is a great thing, and I really, really appreciate what you're doing. Let's grow it. Let's grow the goodness of what you've become. With that said, Lord, again, thank you very much. Tina, where's Tina? Miss Lee, thank you very much for pushing forward with this. Again, I doubted you. Won't do that again. I've learned a lesson, and I'm trying to tell you what I've learned. Don't you let people tell you no. I don't care if it's the superintendent. I don't care if it's the governor. I don't care who it is. If you know it's right and you know it's good, follow through with it. Make it happen. With that said, we do have a very special guest today who I know agrees that helping others is a passion that we all have. He has led the charge in fighting for child-focused, classroom-centered policies that support our children and strengthen our state. Superintendent Woods has over 24 years of pre-K through 12th grade experience in public education, serving as a veteran educator and a school leader. And I had the opportunity to serve on Superintendent Woods' Superintendent Advisory Panel for 2 years. And I can tell you firsthand that he's all about doing what's right for children. There is no doubt that every decision that comes from his office, it has children first. Please help me in welcoming Superintendent Richard Woods to Triad and Superintendent.
Well, it's an honor to be with you today. I do understand that I'm between you and what looks good really over there. For some of the young people, I would like for me to say good job and sit down. I would probably be the most happiest person here, or I would make you happy. But I am very proud, and I consider it an honor to be with you today. I think that, again, I remember Harvard and Miss Lee coming up to the office and sharing all of it, all this, what does this look like? And for me, it really is a culmination of what we have tried to present in education, is what education should be about. And I'm talking in the world of relationships. Relationships is the most important thing that we do in education. I tell people it's not tests, it's not things of this nature. Those are the bureaucratic stuff that we have to do. But it's the relationships that really have lifelong impact. You think about who is your favorite teacher. I guarantee you, you're not thinking about that great teacher because, gee, they helped me pass my test, or that was what they talked about. But they got to know you on a personal level. And it reminds me of a quote that I'm very fond of. It says, people don't really care how much you know until they first know how much you care. And this is really what Helping Hands puts forth with it. It is something that, as an administrator at an elementary school, that I saw the change in the bureaucracy. And again, when we talked about nutrition at schools, we're talking about having to deal with the federal government. Where I worked in a Title I school, poverty was an issue day in and day out. And when I first arrived, we were able to give food to those in need. And again, we would have kids that would take that, but then something changed. Then it began to where we always had to put the milk on the tray, but you could never give it away. It always ended up in the landfill. And this goes to packaged, food and stuff. And that was one thing that disturbed me, because I said that we have need here in the state. But yet we're going to let a bureaucracy stand in the way and leave kids to go away hungry. And to both ladies, again, thank you again for your work and for your vision of finding, quote, the loophole. I think where there's a will, there is a way. And what does this mean for young people? One of the things we look at, and again at the Department of Education, that our focus is on the whole child. And if you look at our strategic plan, and one of the things that we helped shape as we came into office a few years ago was that we looked at and said we have to have something that addresses the whole child, but we have to have things that we know have an impact on student learning. And what you have here really comes into the area of school safety. Because when you talk about school safety, here we're talking about nutrition safety, we're talking about food safety. Because what we know from research is that we have to do things, or there are things that have an impact on a student's ability to learn that aren't necessarily just learning your ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. But we know the importance of food. I use the example that, I think about my vehicle out there. If I don't put gasoline in it, it will run and it will stop at some point, and it will cease to function. And that's the importance of food. Food is fuel. It fuels our bodies, it fuels our brains, it gets these young people ready to learn. But I do know this, that if you are hungry, the first thing in your mind is not learning about ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. It becomes in, and we know again with the research that survival kicks in first and foremost. And that's the importance of what you are doing here. That you are allowing these young people to now say that I can begin to focus on what school is designed to do. That's to educate young people. They are preparing them. And so that is one thing we can look at. I think for myself, and again I've looked and we talked a little bit before I came, the operation is very simple. It is not hard at all. When I look at the grand scheme of things as far as education, you just got to have leadership that's willing to listen. So I appreciate that. You need a room, and you need a little bit of equipment, and you need some volunteers. Well, that doesn't cost much. Again, when you're talking about things, we're not talking about millions of dollars. When you talk about a budget within the state of Georgia, and it was roughly said, I think it would maybe cost about $1,500 to $2,000 to start up. Well, you put that in conjunction to a multi-billion-dollar budget, that's peanuts, to be honest. But what you're doing as well is that you're teaching these young people a valuable lesson. You're teaching them about service. And service is extremely important because you learn so much by giving. That is where you get that. And you're training these young people to give because they are our future. They're the future we want to have. What you are setting up here is really what we need to project. And again, in a world, in a time in which we see so much angst, so much anger, so much dysfunction, you have the ability to draw people together. It's just not students within a school. You can see that. Again, I have two advisory groups. And if I need help, all I have to do is ask those kids, and they are here to help. It does not take long. But here what you have is you have kids, you have teachers, you have administrators, you have community members, you have elected officials, you have groups and businesses that are coming together for a common good. And it is a good that, I think, that goes beyond, anything I can think of. It is about our kids, about the kids of Georgia. And I cannot think of a better and more noble cause to do what you were doing here, because it does reach out. And I think that as we look and we look about look around our state suffers from poverty. That is, people ask me, what is the greatest challenge that you face in education? And I think about when it's things that I cannot control, things that I really cannot put my hand on and physically just wave a wand and it's done. It is poverty. We have about a 60% poverty rating in Georgia. It's one of the highest that we face. I've seen it firsthand. I know what it looks like. I know what it means to see young people go home hungry, go home perhaps underdressed, go home without the supplies they need. But you've taken steps that you can address a need that these young people and families have. That is one less thing that they have to worry about. But what does that mean for education as well? You're teaching, your young people the value of service. You're teaching them about entrepreneurship. You're teaching them how to become problem solvers. That yes, you can be a part of a solution. It is not necessarily a grown-up. You don't have to be a grown-up to have a solution. You're teaching them, so many things, people skills. And to be honest, what you are teaching these young people is what I hear business talk about day in and day out. That is what they want. They want individuals that can contribute. And to those that I know that are in the local communities, you want people that are active in your community, that gives back, that serves. And so I thank you for that. And as I close with this, you have a great opportunity here. And I think that as this is just 3 years in the making, you started off with a school. You came up with a few more schools. This year, you're up 17, is that correct? Well, I don't know if you start doing the math, but you're exponentially growing. You're exponentially growing that where this vision, I can very see, can become a movement. It can become a movement that, again, is not within this, but I would dare say that within, if I'm fortunate enough to be elected for a second term, that this could be something that could be easily replicated and be in every school system in the state of Georgia. That is how easy it can be done. That is what you were seeing. You were seeing in this section, again, I heard school system after school system after school system. You are now in South Georgia. Again, that is my home. But it is something that, again, can spread like wildfire. Now, for me and myself, even though I cannot officially endorse this, but I will say this, you have my full support. You have the full support of the Department of Education. And again, how I can bring together individuals, companies, businesses, entities to help this program advance, you will have my pledge to do so. We've already talked about trying to get this in front of all the nutrition directors in the state. Again, many of them, they're somewhat fearful because it is that we've just been compliant. And this is what we've been told that this is how we have to do. But what we found out is that this is not how it has to be. And so, I appreciate this and thank you again for at least bringing this to my attention. And it's my pleasure we will continue to bring this to the attention of others. For you who are superintendents, you have a big voice. You have something called Gale. You have something called Bootstrap. You can lend that voice to begin that process of sharing it out. Again, this is something that, as I look, we have the chamber and individuals that are big movers and shakers within the state. You have members of the General Assembly that are here. You have the foundations that we can bring to bear to support this. Because this is worthwhile. This is worthwhile because you're talking about feeding children. You're talking about getting them ready for school. You're talking about them getting them ready for life. Now, since you're focusing on children, that's why you have my support. Because this is what it's about. It's about nothing else but the young people that we serve. Because they are our greatest treasure. They are what we're about. Again, I go up to my office every day. And I have 2 desks. Of the desks that came from my classroom. Of the desks that my students sat in. I know because they wrote their names on my desk. But that is there to remind me what it's about. And so I thank you for keeping that focus, for making this what it is about. And that's our children. And so I wish you the best. I know it's that this is continuing growth is growing exponentially. And I look forward to saying one day that it is in every single school, in every single district. And I would say hopefully maybe not only the state of Georgia, because I think the state of Georgia can be a role model for the other states. That once other states see what's happening, they'll want to buy in too. Because we have a lot of need throughout our nation as well. So again, I congratulate you. I thank you for what you have dedicated your life for catching this vision, for crafting this vision. And to our young people, dream and dream big. You are the ones that will place a limit on what you can achieve. And as the superintendent said, don't let people stand in your way. Always be polite, always be professional. If one door closes, that just means another door waiting to open. So I appreciate your time. Thank you for this opportunity to be with you today. And I look forward to hearing about more great things as we progress through the years ahead. Thank you very much.
Got one more thing to say, and I promise we can get to the food, but Mr. Woods, if you wouldn't mind, we have a short little presentation here, and a surprise.
Okay.
I might just hold this and make sure our equipment's gonna work, but Sophie, go ahead.
Good afternoon. I'm Sophie Harwood, and I'm student founder of Helping Hands. Today I'd like to share some very exciting news about our program that is very important to me, especially as a high school student looking at the cost of college. So thanks to a generous donation from the Triumph First Baptist Church youth group involved in the Vacation Bible School program, Helping Hands has now been able to establish a scholarship fund for honor graduates who have participated in the Helping Hands program. The scholarship fund has been created in honor of Superintendent Wood's kind recognition of our program and will open for its first two nominees, a student who has received food and a student who is that is a volunteer this May 2019. Stay tuned as soon we will post an application on our website. We need your help identifying candidates and spreading the word so we can grow the fund and help even more graduates. Hopefully they will pursue the next chapters in their lives with continued support of the community developed as part of their participation in Helping Hands.
Okay, so I think we have a table set up, so I guess as organized as we can, maybe let's get some of these kids that may need to get back to school and sports and events, get them in there, and then we'll get everybody fed.